We're in the office again today, chat, because Joe is once again being incredibly selfish, and once again, Joe is staying at home to look after his child. Because here in the UK, it's half term, so the kids are off school for a week, so he has decided to stay home and look after his child instead of doing the Liam and Joe AoS show. I think what that means is Joe doesn't care about AoS. Anyway, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining us on this Tuesday afternoon. I can't say fine Tuesday afternoon because the weather's shit out there here on the south coast today in the UK. But hey, welcome back. Today is the Liam and No Joe AoS show because he's not here. And we're going to go over some of the faction focus stuff that GW have chucked out so far because there's been a few of them now. And last week what we did was we had a moan about the AoS event. And now there's enough content out there over the next few weeks we can cover a couple of factions per episode and probably not quite catch up, which is good because it gives us lots of content. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to talk about the faction focus. We're going to start with the very first article. I do have a glamorous assistant today, but it's not Joe. It's Mrs. The Loose, who sat right next to me over here. Who's going to have fucking no idea what I'm talking about for the next hour and a half. But she's here anyway.
But
right?
I'm gonna be in and out because I'm cooking and
she's housewifing still.
Yeah, I'm housewifing.
Yeah. Doing a day job. But we're going to cover the AoS role. So Lucy's going to be here. She'll pop in every now and again. If you haven't already, please make sure you smash all the magical YouTube buttons for us. So hit the like if you enjoy our content. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And some people still haven't done that. Then you can hit that bell notification icon if you want to be notified every single time we go live or drop a new video. Alternatively, you can become a member of the Great Hall. And if you're a member and you're in Discord, !Discord, if you're in Discord as a member, then you'll also be notified when we go live or schedule a new video or when we put any kind of announcement, actually, as long as you've got the right kind of reaction rolls going. Which is interesting because that means you'll also get a notification after the stream when we schedule tonight's stream, which is a live game of 40k, but we've decided to be a bit crazy. Right, so we don't want to just keep playing Leviathan, and Vince is coming down today. And I said to him, because I'm tired and my voice is gone, I want to just play something simple tonight and something easy. I was going to play just World Eaters. So he said to me, do you want me to bring a bit of a silly list? And I was like, yeah, absolutely, yeah, go for it. And he sent me his list, and I fucking loved it. And I was like, I've got an idea here. So tonight is just flat going to be Monster Mash. So Vince is just bringing nothing but monsters, and I'm going to be bringing nothing but monsters. I'm going to be trying to play Leviathan with nothing but monsters. They're not legal lists. Who gives a shit? It's going to be fun. We're going to have fun 40k tonight. We're going to show you that you don't just have to follow the confines of the rules. You can still enjoy yourself and have fun. So look forward to that tonight. 7:30. Vince and I will go live from the Great Hall. I'm going over there after now to start setting up and getting the table ready. And we're just going to be Monster Mash. So there's Mortarion and Magnus and Angron and Shalaxi and Rotigus and Scarbrand, and they're all going to be there, all fighting each other. All right, it's going to be fucking good fun. Nothing but monsters. All right, so look out for that one tonight. Again, if you're a member and you're in the Great Hall, then when we schedule it after the stream, you'll see the scheduling that happens in the stream scheduling section if you've got the right reaction roll. If you are Rob Paul, who's a Skull Team member, you'll see that already. Thank you so much for upgrading, you dude. You're a legend. If you're Buckshot81, you'll already see it, but he's also given 20 other people the opportunity to see the scheduling tonight. So big shout out Buckshot. Thank you so much for 20 gifted. 20 gifts is amazing. You're a legend. I love you dearly. Luce is in fact saluting. You're getting a salute from Luce at lunchtime on a Tuesday rather than Joe and his effort that he doesn't really put in.
You're so horrible. He's not even here to defend himself.
That's why. He's not here to defend himself.
Although, Brandon has an idea. You should FaceTime Joe when he's not available so he has no excuses.
We did that. Well, we were halfway through filming a pre-recorded battle report, if you remember, when COVID hit and we went into lockdown.
Oh.
And if you remember, what I did is I built a stand, mounted the iPad, hung a shirt on it, and FaceTime Brom so I could finish filming.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember? And I literally filmed me playing against Brombot.
Brombot. How did that go?
It was fucking genius, but it definitely did not receive the acclaim it deserved. So there we go. Anywho, right. Today we're going to talk about the AoS faction focuses. By the way, thank you for gifting. If you're new on the AoS show, I know it's different because we're in here. We don't put a membership target up on Tuesdays at all. We have targets. We don't put them up on Tuesdays. So big shout out to those of you that give, well, to Buckshot, he's already gifted 20. Thank you so much. 20 members, 20 new members so far today. You people are amazing. Thank you. Obviously, it's a slightly different show because it's my normal evening show setup, so it's going to probably work work a little bit more like an evening show setup. So I'll see chat. I've got chat right in front of me rather than in the Liam and Joe show where it's kind of on a big TV across the room. But if you want to interrupt me and put your point across, if you want to make any kind of comments, say anything about AoS, you are more than welcome to stick it on big colourful postcards. And Amy, because it's this setup, Amy will read it out and will interrupt me. So it's not like when I'm with Joe and we have to wait, and then he's got to read it, and you've got to wait another 20 minutes for him to be able to fucking read it, because he can't read the word and then eventually he'll butcher your super chat, and you'll be like, hang on, that's not what I typed, because he doesn't read what you actually wrote. Amy will do it for us today because we're in the normal office. But yeah, John McCardle. Oh my god. I feel like he might have been let out of the jail a little bit because it's 50 gifted from Big Bad John.
Fiddy.
A big fiddy. Oh my lord, John, thank you so much for 50 gifted memberships, sticking us on 70 off the bat. We'll just do 30 and I can rest the voice. Let's just do... No, I'm joking.
Do you know, you do sound much better.
It doesn't feel better. It feels worse. But I think
really?
It sounds better, yeah. But I also can hear... Well, I think it sounds worse, but I don't know. Maybe
No,
I'm
you
wrong.
sound slightly more back to normal.
Okay.
But
It's just lots of honey and resting,
interesting
basically.
that your throat feels worse.
Yeah.
But you sound better.
Yeah, it feels really, really hoarse. It's fine. We'll fight through. It'll be okay.
Horse.
Got to get through today and tonight, and then tomorrow is one more stream, and then eventually I think we'll be back to... I reckon by Thursday it'll be back to basically normal.
Yeah.
Vlad, thank you for 5 gifted. You're a legend. 75 off the bat. Joe does not bring the numbers. I'm joking, obviously. Thank you so much, Vlad, for the 5 gifted. I'll let her read that one out, John. Thank you so much.
John. There's ladies here.
I think he wants to come and stay here as well, so we do that in your toilet.
Well, I mean, you'll get the same treatment Joe did, and Joe very kindly offered to piss in the garden.
He did,
to save my clean toilet.
Yeah, he's done that a few times.
So
Started a new thread in the OnlyThanes WhatsApp community, which is called Inthane Fitness and Accountability.
ooh,
And
okay.
it's kicked off already. They're all posting photos and what they're
nice.
going to do and how they're going to... It's good, yeah.
I'm
We're
not-
slowly growing the Inthanes
Yeah.
community.
I'm not necessarily fitness, but I'm trying to tackle the healthy lifestyle from the food, because I love food and I love how food tastes and how you can get it to taste different, all the rest. And I'm really proud of myself that while I had my like fatigue flare-up thing, I did not go for the sugar.
Yeah, exactly.
And I didn't even crave the sugar.
I actually came away from the sugar and went to honey.
Yeah. And I'm really proud of myself that some of that is just not having the energy to even be bothered to go to the shop to get the sugary stuff. But I have rewired my brain. I must have, because I didn't crave it. I craved the real food.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
So, yeah.
Yeah.
A healthy attitude
We're
towards
getting there.
food takes ages, so don't get down that you might have fallen off the wagon.
We'll get there,
It's fine.
chat. And in other news, before we jump into the AoS faction focuses, because we're just letting the audience slowly fill up, before we jump into the AoS faction focuses, just so you know, I actually went back to the gym again this morning. That's 10 gym sessions in a row.
Was your grunting man and his glamorous assistant there this morning?
No, he wasn't.
No.
Also, can I just ask, is YouTube jumping or is it just the thing in front of me that's jumping? Because my OBS says everything is fine. And it says there's 0 drop frames and everything says there's excellent connection. But on the little screen in front of me, it's skipping.
No, it's not skipping for me.
It's not skipping for you?
No.
Good. Okay. Perfect. Right. Okay.
Smooth as a baby's butt.
Went to the
over
gym
here.
this morning, so that's 10 sessions in a row. So this is me now calling Mr. the Castellan out, who said, if you do 10 sessions in a row, I'll upgrade to Thane. We'll call him out right now. Did it.
Just took an amazing morning dump ready to start the day.
Fan of your work, John. Good man. It is the best way to start the day. Although Kyle thinks I'm weird, so I always make a cup of tea to sit on the toilet.
I have a question. Why do fellas...
Hang on, let's get through these first.
Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, when the saints go marching in. I want to be in that number. Oh, when the saints go marching in.
Thank you so much, Buckshot, you fucking legend. You're an absolute hero. Yeah, it was a good day on Sunday. I would be wearing a Saints shirt today for all the streams, but because Luce only washes my clothes once every 6 weeks, my 2 Saints shirts are currently in the wash.
It's because you get all sensitive about it being a 20-degree wash.
20 degree is all it needs, and we don't tumble dry my gear.
So I'm not putting in like 5 shirts.
I still need to do that, John.
Ages about to get in trouble with his wife as well. Thank you so much, everyone.
Ladies take dumps as well. As far as I know.
I'm not saying that girls don't poo. But I'm just wondering why.
Right, chat. This is a day stream, okay?
I'm just wondering why fellas seem to need to take half an hour in there.
Because we get some fucking peace and quiet.
Do your
That's
bit,
why.
flush it, wash your hands, get out. Because other people need it.
Get some peace and quiet. That's why.
But you manufacture the peace and quiet in every room. You make yourself look busy and unapproachable, so the children walk past you to us.
It's great, innit?
Because you make yourself look unapproachable.
Great, innit? Thanks,
So
everyone.
you don't need the half an hour toilet.
Thanks, everyone, for the gifted anyway. That puts us at 75 members. You're amazing. Thank you so much for all the super chats as well. You people are incredible. We love you. So, AoS faction focuses. So this started on the 20th of May. So 8 days ago. So last Monday was the first article, right, that came out. We spoke on the Tuesday stream about the event at Warhammer World, which basically led to this, which basically led to them starting the faction focuses. And there's been a few that have come out since, and Warcom currently is awash with AoS articles, and we don't really get much from the world of 40k right now. It might be that Joe and I pick this up again on Thursday and continue if I don't get through very much. Because my theory is I let a few of them build up, and then if I cover 2 or 3 in a single stream, that gives me plenty of content to talk about for an hour and a half. Now, I do have to finish at 3 o'clock today because I've got to fuck off over to the studio, and I've got to do all the stuff that Joe would normally do to prep for the stream, plus all the stuff that I would normally do to prep for the stream because he's having a day off. So I'm going to have to build the table probably badly compared to what he does, etc. And then Vince is coming over at like 3:30, 4, and we need to get some dinner and stuff as well. So I have to treat him because he's... Bless Vince. Vince came under 2 weeks ago, less than 2 weeks ago, not last Thursday, Thursday before, to come and do a guest appearance on the stream. And then he said, if you want me to come back again, I actually really enjoyed it. I'd come back again, which is lovely because he's only like 40 minutes up the road in Andover, which is really, really nice. And then I found, and we didn't need him. We didn't have a gap in the calendar. So I was like, well, I'm sure we can book you in again in the near future. Then Joe changed his stream availability like a week ago to today. It was a week ago from green to red. And I was like, I do actually need more than a week's notice, Joe. Your half term for your children doesn't change. Do you need more than a week's notice? By the by, he changed it. I was like, okay, so Joe can't come now because he's got to be at home looking after his parents. Brom couldn't come today because he's away somewhere. Eddie, no one likes. Paddy's still on course. I'm joking, we love Eddie, but Eddie's now moved even further away again. Paddy's on course. So we were like, we won't have a game.
Just ordered Flesh Eater Chords and Stormcast Eternals Spearhead from Element. I totally blame you, Mr. D, for getting me into and fully erect for us.
Take that blame, Richard. I will accept it gladly as long as you use the Element link, ! Element. As long as you did that. So we were not going to have a game stream tonight. We're going to have to cancel and do another Talking Head stream, which would have been fine. I've been okay with it. But I was like, I wonder if we could avoid cancelling the game stream by asking Mr. Vince to come and play tonight. And he went, yeah, all right. I was like, he enjoyed it that much. So because he's like down like 12 days after he was last down, I was like, let's go out for dinner. I'll buy you dinner. I think it's nice that you did.
You did leave out. How old's his baby?
10 months.
So you have plucked a man out of the bosom of his family with a 10-month-old baby. Selfish. I bet he was white knuckling the door frame, feeling so guilty about coming.
AoS faction focuses begin tomorrow, which wasn't tomorrow, it was last Tuesday. Here's what to expect. This is interesting because this sets the scene, chat, for what's coming in the articles. And there's some standards they put down, which I quite like as well. We've seen Skaven Tide, the massive launch box for the new edition of Warhammer Age of Sigmar, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. From last Tuesday, we'll be taking a look at every faction in the game, starting with the Stormcast Eternals. That one really excites. I'm actually super into Stormcast at the moment. I feel like my 2 favourite ranges are between Stormcast and Lumineth. So this is important for me personally, with Stormcast being one of the first, right? With so many changes, the Warhammer studio took the opportunity to fully re-index the entire game. This meant assessing every single war scale to refactor and rebalance, which I can confirm they have done. Of course, thank you, Richard. One of the key goals for the new edition was to make sure that the rules really reflect the mortal realms. This meant ensuring that characteristics are consistently applied, reflecting the lore and the look of the miniature. Each type of creature was assigned a set of characteristics which would serve as a baseline across factions. A basic human hits on a 4+ and wounds on a 4+. Elves are more accurate but no stronger, so they hit on a 3+ and wound on a 4+, while Oryx are no more accurate but are stronger, so hit on a 4+ and wound on a 3+. And here is your chart. It actually goes on a bit further. It shows you that a grot hits on a 4+, it hits the same as a human or an orc, but wounds on a 5+ because they're weak little goblins. A monster hits on a 4+ because it's a big giant thing swinging around. Wounds on a 2+ because it's a big heavy thing. And a man on a horseback hit, or a horse in general, hits on a 5+ because it's a horse, but wounds on a 3 because you get trampled by a horse. Guess what? That hurts. Elite warriors and brutes, or ill-trained fighters and weaklings, can modify these baselines, but the archetypes provide a strong and consistent core. A similar approach was taken amongst heroes, helping to differentiate a combat hero from a priest or wizard. More hard work came when deciding how to clearly represent the health and save characteristics. Hundreds of miniatures were lined up to compare, with health largely defined by their volume and save largely defined by the amount of armour worn. These were then grouped together to help decide where brackets for each characteristic would start and end. After these base characteristics had been determined, the aim was to ensure that every unit had its own role to play on the battlefield. These would be realised by abilities that helped to define their strengths and unique traits. And actually, they spoke to us a little bit about this when we did our day, our AoS like experience day. And they said that in Age of Sigmar 3rd edition, there was a couple of occurrences where 2 units, or a unit with 2 weapon options, it was basically mostly about which is the most points efficient because they essentially did the same thing. And what they wanted to do in the 4th edition of Age of Sigmar is remove an efficiency race based on points, because they basically did the same thing, and actually give them a purpose, whether one be defensive, one be offensive, etc. Which I think was a good move, to be honest with you. So the idea being that no 2 units in a battle tome essentially do the same job, right? Each faction in Warhammer Age of Sigmar has its own specialties and preferred tactics, but internal balance is also important. Where an army has access to multiple types of infantry or cavalry or war machines, the rules team took pains to help differentiate them, perhaps giving one unit to focus on holding objectives, one unit to better positional play, and making another unit better at countering specific threats thanks to a carefully chosen weapon ability. There you go, it's exactly what we've just talked about, right? Weapon abilities, universal weapon abilities. Some weapons have one or more of the passive weapon abilities below. If a weapon has multiple weapon abilities that apply on a critical hit before the attack sequence starts, the commander of the attacking model must pick one of those abilities to use. So sometimes in 40k, for example, right now, you can have lethal hits and sustained, both of which are weapon abilities, both of which that trigger on a critical hit roll, right? Now that doesn't happen in Age of Sigmar 4th edition. You can't do it. You can't roll a 6, get a lethal hit and get a sustained for another hit. You have to pick one or the other, which I'm a fan of, right? Anti-X +1 rend. Add 1 to the weapon's when characteristic if the target has the keyword after anti, or fulfills the condition after anti. Multiples of this ability are cumulative. For example, if a weapon has both anti-charge +1 rend and anti-hero +1 rend, then add 2 to the rend characteristic of the weapon for attacks that target a hero that is charged in the same turn. Charge +1 damage. What I like about these keywords, by the way, these universal weapon abilities, is they're very clear, right? They're very, very clear. Add 1 to this weapon's damage characteristic if the attacking unit charged this turn. Companion. This weapon is not affected by abilities used by friendly unit that affect the attack's characteristic or that attack sequence. This is when you have like little like hounds or whatever alongside, or maybe even your steed horse.
Bought a chair through your link this morning. Thumbs up.
Oh, I need to check that in a minute then. Robert, thank you so much, you beautiful human being. Let me quickly check to see if it's already gone through, because I'm still nervous about this this reversion, this what's it called, affiliate link at the moment, because it's new and I don't want to miss it, because every single commission is big. Yeah, I've only got 4 so far. Hasn't come through yet. I might get you to DM me the order number on the off chance that it doesn't come through and the link didn't work properly. Rob, thanks so much, though. You're a hero. But if you want to reach out to me on Discord or something and say, here's my order number, and I can email them and be like, this order number used my link this morning and it wasn't assigned to my affiliate link. It's not showing right now. But thank you so much, dude. You're a hero. Thank you. So yeah, companions, I guess like things like steeds that you're riding and things like that might count as companions. But yeah, basically if you have abilities that affect your weapons or your attacks characteristics, they don't affect companions, which is a good thing, I think. It's almost like extra attacks shouldn't get lance and stuff like that, I guess. Crit, 2 hits. If an attack made with this weapon scores a critical hit, that attack scores 2 hits on the target unit instead of 1. Make a wound roll for each hit. Importantly, it doesn't mean you get the hit and 2 more. It just gets 2 hits. That's it, right? So if you roll a critical hit, it counts as 2 hits. You don't get 3 hits, it counts as 2 hits, okay? It scores 2 hits on the target instead of 1. Very clear. Crit auto wound. If an attack made with this weapon scores a critical hit, that attack automatically wounds the target. Make a save roll as normal. Crit mortal. If an attack made with this weapon scores a critical hit, that attack inflicts mortal damage on the target unit equal to the damage characteristic of that weapon, and the attack sequence ends. Again, very, very clear. Shoot in combat. This weapon can be used to make shooting attacks even if the attacking unit is in combat. There we go. Shoot in combat. As simple as that, right? Very, very easy. Like I said, what I really love about these is they're incredibly clear. There is almost no gotcha here, or no, hang on, what does that mean? Because it basically just tells you. And once you get used to crit 2 hits is 2 hits, and crit 3 hits is 3 hits, and etc., you won't need to refer to this anymore. I think it'll be very clear. As a result of this role-determining process, the way rend works in weapon profiles has changed. While rend has been reduced overall, there are many more units with anti-X abilities, meaning they'll hit much harder against their preferred targets. Of course, combat in the Age of Sigmar is brutal, so don't expect all rend to go away. Rolling loads of dice only to inflict no wounds isn't that fun or exciting. The final step was to try and even out the complexity of each faction's battle traits, the army rules that govern how they play. This has resulted in bigger changes for some factions than others, and a reduction in the need for tokens while playing factions like Lumineth Realm Lords or Cities of Sigmar. Fucking love Lumineth. Lumineth and Stormcast are my favourite 2 armies by far. I think I've got my 2 favourite AoS armies now. With, I think, probably the Tree Pool coming in, Sylvaneth coming in as a close second, I reckon. As we start to reveal snippets of each of the 24 factions, you'll undoubtedly see things that don't look as powerful as they were in the previous edition. Don't take these in isolation. Literally everything has been refactored. So if a particular unit seems weaker, the chances are that similar units have experienced comparable changes or its niche has become more valuable. The full faction packs contain battle traits, battle formations, heroic traits, artifacts of power and various laws, as well as the spearhead battle traits, regiment abilities, enhancements, and all the war scrolls you'll need. They will be available to download as free FAQs on or around launch, and to buy as physical card packs shortly afterwards. We'll begin our faction focuses tomorrow, which is last Tuesday, with the Immortal Warriors of Sigmar, the Stormcast Eternals. Is it me? Maybe this is just me. But the faction packs contain battle traits, battle formations, heroic traits, artifacts of power, and various laws, as well as spearhead battle traits, regiment abilities, enhancements, and all the war scrolls. That's a lot more than we got for 10th edition 40k, isn't it? That feels like a lot more than we got for 10th edition 40k. Maybe I'm wrong. But I feel like that's, for free downloadable rules, that's a lot, which is cool, okay? So that's a setup for what we're about to jump into. And the first one they brought out was, of course, the Golden Boys themselves, the Stormcast Eternals. Warhammer Age of Sigmar faction-focused Stormcast Eternals. They're doing 40 where the free rules will be behind a paywall. They do the free rules. I don't think so. It just says free to download. I don't think it's behind a paywall, my friend. Your chair's not turning up, Robert, in my thingy. Your thingy isn't showing up in my thingy, and that makes me sad. Okay, Stormcast Eternals chat. Excuse me a minute. By the way, every now and again I'm going to have to clear my throat. The Stormcast Eternals are demigods clad in gleaming Sigmarite armor. Each one is a mighty warrior plucked from the moment of death and reforged on the anvil of apotheosis by the God King himself, transformed into immortal heroes and sworn to protect the mortal realms from the depredations of chaos. They arrive on bolts of divine lightning dispatched to fight Sigmar's gravest battles. When they die, and die they do, for the mortal realms are full of terrors, their souls return to Azir to be reforged anew. They pay a hefty price for this immortality as their souls erode with each reforging, slowly losing shards or shreds of their humanity. Despite this, the Stormcast Eternals fight on to secure a future for the faithful of Sigmar and the will of their Heldenhammer made manifest. In our first faction focus, we find out exactly how these tireless champions order do battle in the upcoming edition of Warhammer Age of Sigmar. Overview. Okay. Stormcast Eternals are separated into storm hosts, each one an autonomous military organisation with its own history, heraldry, and favoured ways of war. These are led by a Lord Commander and his command echelon, who preside over various chambers, tactical formations, which each have their own battlefield role. The warrior chambers are the most common of these, deploying liberators as an unyielding bastion to hold the front line, and annihilators to pulverise enemy lines like living meteors. They are joined by the likes of the vanguard chambers, forward scouts and fast cavalry who range ahead of the main host, and the extremis chambers who ride draconic star beasts into battle, plus various other more specialised formations. The latest of these to be called into action are the ruination chambers, roused from their bleak citadels, quiet monasteries in which elite veterans of hundreds of conflicts reside in a life of quiet contemplation. On the verge of losing themselves completely to the curse of reforging, they have been called into action once again to combat the resurgent Skaven menace using skills honed across centuries of fighting. Beyond their own skill, the Stormcast employ the aid of numerous beasts. Griff creatures become loyal mounts and companions, while through a long-standing alliance with the offspring of the god beast Dracothian, Signar's finest fight alongside Draconic comrades. Dragons, basically, right? Battle traits are army rules that define how each faction plays on the tabletop. The Stormcast Eternals.
You're not wrong, but if your strats are tied to detachments cost, I can somewhat understand why there's only one, but there should have probably been two.
Yeah, fair enough. Thank you for the 5, by the way, dude. Hope you're doing well. Stormcast Eternals are typified by how they deploy from the Celestial Realm, striking precisely as Scions of the Storm. Right, battle traits. Stormcast Eternal armies can use the following abilities: a deployment phase ability, movement phase ability, once per turn hero phase ability, once per battle movement phase ability. Okay, so the first ability, the deployment phase ability, declare if there are more friendly Stormcast Eternal units on the battlefield than there are set up in reserve. Pick a friendly Stormcast Eternal unit that has not been deployed. Set that unit up in reserve in the Celestial Realm. It is now being deployed. So basically, you're going to get to a point where you can put up to half your army in the Celestial Realm, right? Because you need to have had, there are more units on the battlefield than there are set up in reserve. So you can't set up more in reserve than you have on the battlefield, okay? In your movement phase, you have the ability Signs of the Storm. Pick a friendly Stormcast Eternal unit that is in the Celestial Realm. Deep Strike Reserve, essentially, chat. Set up that unit anywhere on the battlefield more than 9 inches from all enemy units to deep strike it, okay? Beautiful, okay. Once per battle, your movement phase, the Heaven Sent. Declare, pick a friendly, non-unique Stormcast Eternals infantry or cavalry unit that has started the battle with 2 or more models that has been destroyed to be the target. Set up a replacement unit with half the number of models from the target unit, rounding up more than 9 inches from enemy units. It's essentially a reinforcement, which is cool. This one, however, has a command point cost of 1 command point, right? So you basically get a replacement unit of an infantry or cavalry unit that started with 2 or more models. It will be interesting, for example, to see if Stormdrake Guard can take this, because if they're non-unique and there's 2 Stormdrake Guard in a unit, you can spend 1 command point and bring a single dragon back. It's pretty powerful. Once per turn army, your hero phase, pick a friendly Stormcast Eternals unit that has not used this ability this battle to use this ability. For the rest of the turn, add 1 to the wound rolls for that attack's combat attacks, and add 1 to save rolls for that unit. It's best day out ever, right? You get to use this in your hero phase for a Stormcast Eternals unit, not necessarily a hero, and you get +1 to wound and +1 for saving throws. Interestingly, you can only pick a unit that has not used this ability this battle so far, so you can't pick the same one 5 turns in a row, okay? Those warriors whose role is to hold ground call upon increased resilience and ferocity in their finest hour, supported by heaven-sent reinforcements as fallen warriors are replaced in a clap of righteous thunder, in an example of a faction-specific command ability. Just the one, though, which is quite nice. Each faction begins a new edition with a faction pack. This provides a choice of 4 battle formations, which work like the sub-faction rules of old. These encourage you to build and play your army in a certain manner to benefit from specific bonuses. Many Storm hosts will fight either as a Thunderhead host or a Lightning Echelon, but when the Ruination Chambers are pressed into battle, they often march as Sentinels of the Bleak Citadel. It sounds cool as shit, right? Sentinels of the Bleak Citadel. Once per turn, army, any hero phase, right? Declare, pick a friendly Ruination Chamber unit. That unit has a Ward 5+ for the rest of the turn. Now, if I remember rightly, a Ward 5+ is essentially a Feel No Pain. Why is Vince messaging me? Oh, okay. He's just changing his list for tonight. I was panicked that he was going to have to ditch the stream. There we go. So their centuries of death and resurrection might cost the Ruination Chambers their memories and passions, but their ancient aura or storm-charged energy lets them shrug off physical attacks and spells by granting Ward 5+. Each faction pack also has 3 heroic traits and 3 artifacts of power to choose from. Warlord traits, relics. Okay, these can be taken by any hero, adding extra layers of flexibility and tactical choice to your list building. It's like old 40k. I think one of the reasons. Someone asked me the other day why I was so excited about AoS. There's things in here which just remind me of older 40k before this new nonsense that we've got, which is 10th edition. An heroic trait feels like a warlord trait. An artifact of power feels like a relic. They still have spell laws and stuff like that. Ward is the AoS equivalent to Inferno Pain. Thanks for that, man. Good. I'm still kind of learning, obviously. It just feels like it is older versions of 40k, which I liked, with the AoS mixed in and just kind of done like they've actually thought about it, right? Spells, prayers, and manifestations can change the tide of battle, and each faction pack comes with laws to expand your supernatural options. Some have a spell law, some have a prayer law, others have both, and some factions also come with a manifestation law. The Stormcast Eternals have an abundance of priests, and the Blessed Weapons prayer is key to getting the most out of this elite army. So this is a casting value of 6, because the 6 is up in the top right hand corner. It says Blessed Weapons. Declare. Pick a friendly Stormcast Eternals priest to chant this prayer. Pick a visible friendly Stormcast Eternals infantry unit wholly within 12 inches of them to be the target, and then make a chanting roll of a d6. Add 1 to the attack characteristic of the target's melee weapons until the start of your next turn. If the chanting roll was 12+, this ability affects all visible friendly Stormcast Eternals units wholly within 12 inches of the chanter. Right? With a chanting value of 6, it can take a turn or 2 to build up your ritual points and empower a key unit. Plan ahead, and you can amass 12 ritual points to share that buff with units within 12 inches and strike your enemy on multiple fronts. It's a big adding 1 to the attacks characteristics and melee weapons is a big deal. It's until the start of your next turn as well. That's a big deal. Okay, but 6 because you roll a single d6 for prayers, and on a 2+ you get that many chanting points. So you'd have to roll a 6 immediately to use this the turn that you roll. You're probably rolling a 3 or 4 as a mathematical average. So normally this is going to take you 2 chanting rolls in order to get enough points to be able to give this out to your unit. And if you want to, depending on how well you roll for the first 2 turns, there is a temptation, I think, to take a 3rd chanting roll and give it to every unit within 12 inches. But cool ability, I like it. It's cool, right? We then have fucking dragons. When the severity of threat demands the most powerful response, a storm host may battle alongside Krondis, son of Dracothian, a venerable sorcerer Drake who once ruled an empire that spanned nearly all of Gur. My voice is starting to go, chat. I'm sorry. I'm hanging on, right? So this is, I think, maybe this might be one of our first looks at a giant fucking dragon-type creature. Here's Krondris, which I don't have him yet. I have the other one, Karazai. I don't have Krondris, so let's see what he looks like, because it might mean I'm like, chat, if you could just gift another 50 and super chat another 100, I'll buy Krondris, because he looks cool, right? Range weapons, Blazing Tempest, is a 12-inch range attack weapon with one single attack that hits on a 2, wounds on a 3, has a rend of 2, and damage is D3+3. Its ability, you don't need to look it up, is shooting combat. Just says it. Doesn't say pistol, and it just says shooting combat. There you go. You can shoot that in combat. So if you're in combat with Krondis, he can still shoot you with his Blazing Tempest, right? Melee weapons, we have the Apex Maw, which has a little skull on it, okay? And that skull is directly linked to the passive below. We'll talk about that in just a moment. And you have the Drake Lord's Talon. So the Apex Maw, it is 4 attacks, hitting on 3, with a wound value of 2+, a rend of 2, and a damage of 4, right? So 4 attacks, damage 4. It's anti-infantry +1 rend. So if you use the Apex Maw against infantry, the rend goes to 3, right? Now the rend, for those of you that are 40k people, is your AP, okay? So it'll be -3 AP against infantry. Now, considering this is the Mortal Realms, most things are 4 up to 5 up saves rather than 3 up power armor. That's actually very good, right? Drake Lord's Talons is 6 attacks, hitting on 3s, with a wound characteristic, well, a wound value of 2+, a rend of 2, and damage 2. Still not bad, okay? So passive, battle damaged. While this unit has 10 or more damage points, the attack characteristics of its Apex Maw is 2. So if you look in the top left-hand corner, his health is 20. and you now count how many damage he's taken or how much health he's taken. So if you have taken 10 wounds, essentially, you've lost 10 wounds and you've got 10 health remaining or less, then your Apex More attacks characteristic reduces to 2. And that's what that little black skull here directly correlates with this little white skull here. Okay, they're linked. Okay, directly linked. He has another passive ability. Okay, effect, add 2 to casting rolls to this unit. So he's always got +2 to cast, no matter what, right? And he is a wizard who can do 2 spells, casting 2. There you go. Right. Once per turn army combat phase is another ability down here. This is once per turn. It's per turn. Not your turn, just turn, right? So it could be the enemy's turn as well. You can't use it. You can use it both turns, any combat phase. Pick an enemy unit in combat with the target unit to be the target. Roll a dice on a 3+. The target unit cannot use commands for the rest of the turn. That's a loud, roaring dragon, right? Your hero phase. This is a casting value of 8. You can tell because there's a little 8 up in the top corner here, right? Pick a visible enemy unit within 18 inches of the caster to be the target. Then make a casting roll of 2d6. Pick one of the following effects to apply to the target unit until the start of your next turn. You can either subtract 1 from hit rolls for the target's attacks, subtract 1 for the rend characteristic of the target's weapons, or subtract 1 from save rolls for the target. It is a spell, and because it's gold, you can tell it happens in the hero phase. Right? Beautiful. Like it. Okay. Keywords: Warmaster, Unique, Hero, Monster, Wizard, Fly, Order, Stormcast Eternals. The Regalia Fulmentaris enhances his already prodigious arcane strength even further, allowing him to reliably conjure an atavistic tempest to debilitate the enemy with a choice of 3 effects. Remembering that's a casting value of 8, but he gets a permanent +2. So realistically, it's a casting value of 6 on 2d6. Okay. Age hasn't dulled his talons, and in close combat, Krondys will massacre the foe with his Apex Maw and send foes into disarray with a soul-shrieking roar, which can prevent a unit from heeding commands. Just imagine how brutal his angrier, more melee-focused brother is. Dozens of legendary heroes fight for Sigmar Heldenhammer, though few are as ferocious as Yndrasta, the Celestial Spear. We have her right here, right next to me, right? Why might Liam have been painting her wings? Right, well, Yndrasta, okay. Move of 12, a health of 8, a save of 3+ like a Space Marine, and a control of 2. Thengavar is its range weapons, 12-inch range, single attack, hitting on a 3, wounding on a 2, a rend of 2, a damage of 4, and anti-monster +1 rend. So this will only have 2 rend against infantry, but against monsters it goes to AP3, essentially. In melee, that same weapon has 2 attacks, hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s, rending AP2, essentially damage 3, and again is anti-monster. And then the Blade of the High Heavens, the sword that she carries, is 5 attacks, hitting on 3s, wounding on 3s, rending a rend of 2, and damage 3. Okay. She has a passive ability all the time. Effect: double the damage characteristic of this unit's Thengavar for attacks that target monsters. So not only is it a rend of 3 against monsters, but she also doubles the damage characteristic. So that will go to damage 6 against monsters, right? But it's a passive that happens all the time. All the time. So I'm assuming it also means that goes to damage 8 against monsters, which is pretty terrifying when you think about it, right? Absolutely terrifying. Okay, perfect. Another passive down here, although that looks like it is melee, but I don't know if this will be melee only because it doesn't say melee only. Add 1 to the number of dice roll when making charge rolls for this unit to a maximum of 3. So she gets a 3d6 charge. She has another passive: ignore negative modifiers to the control score of friendly Stormcast Eternals units while they were wholly within 12 inches of this unit. Warmaster, Unique, Hero, Infantry, Fly, Wizard 5+, Ward 5+, Order, Stormcast Eternal. So she has a 5-up thermo pain permanently as well, which is tasty. So she's decent. The prime huntress of Sigmar's chosen, Yndrasta must track down and slay the most heinous monsters. Her magical spear, Thengavar, is more up to the task, dishing out massive damage to gigantic beasts, while her dazzling radiance encourages other Stormcasts to give no ground to terrifying foes. It doesn't tell us whether that's in melee only, but it looks... So the reason why I'm asking is because these are all color-coded, and red is melee. Or is it attacks? I think it's melee. I'm sure red is melee. So I'm wondering whether that's a passive that's attacking all the time. Is there another option up here of a different color? No, not yet. Okay, maybe below us. Maybe below Yndrasta. No, not yet. Okay, good. The Knights Arcanum are slightly more level-headed, indomitable lore seekers who seek out the endless spells that rage across the realms. Okay, so we now are looking at a standard character for Stormcast, 5-inch move, 3-up save, health of 6. 3 attacks with a stave that hits on 3s, wounds on 3s, rend 1, damage D3, anti-manifestation, +1 rend. So he can better attacking manifestations, essentially. Alright. She's a properly badass monster hunter. Yeah, she fucking is. Indomitable Lore Seekers effect. Add 1 to casting rolls for this unit when it uses a summon ability, and add 1 to banishment rolls for this unit. Enemy manifestations cannot pass through or end any move within this unit's combat range unless they started that move within this unit's combat range. This unit has a ward 4+ against mortal damage inflicted by manifestations. Sounds all cool, right? Hero Wizard 1, Infantry, or the Stormcast Eternals, Warrior Chamber. With the ability to engage with manifestations now part and parcel of battle, the Knights Arcanum have a war scroll well suited to the task, including a special ward against mortal damage inflicted by endless spells, and the ability to strike them down with extra rend. Supremely skilled in both the offense and defense, most Stormcast Eternals can act as the hammer or the anvil, and few exemplify this doctrine better than Annihilators, okay, which are... Where's the one with some silver on it? Here he is. These big cheeky chaps with hammers and shields, right? These big fellas. Again, their move is slightly slower because they've got a bigger, thicker set of armor. Their save is better for that same reason, 2+. They have a health of 3 because they're not a character, right? And they have a control of 1. Just looked it up, and red is the colour of the combat phase, so I guess it's only melee. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. I think it only affects melee. I think 8 damage for a range attack with a spear would be mental. So I think it would only be melee. But they're still decent in melee, though, right? 6 damage in melee is good. I think 8 damage in throwing the spear would be mental. So I think we're right there. They have a meteoric hammer with 3 attacks, hitting on 3s, wounding on 3s, a rend of 1, damage of 2. A rend of 1 for a flat blade, a flat faced hammer makes sense for me. Any charge phase, brace for impact. Pick an enemy unit that charged this turn and is in combat with this unit to be the target. Roll a dice for each model in this unit. If any of the rolls are a 6, the target has to strike last for the rest of the turn. That's cool. Okay. And then you have a blazing impact in your movement phase. If this unit was set up this turn using the Signs of the Storm ability, so if a deep struck, pick up to 3 units within 10 inches of it to be the target. Roll a D3 for each target. Roll a 2+, inflict an amount of mortal damage on the target equal to the roll. Cool as shit. They literally come down in hero pose from the skies with their hammer. They're like a group of 3 Thors coming in. I love it. Need to drink some cold coffee because my throat's going. I've got to get through a 3-hour game tonight as well. When they crash down into the battlefield, their blazing impact deals mortal damage to nearby enemy units. Those who carry mighty shields instead of meteoric grand hammers can use them to brace for impact and weather any retaliation, creating an armoured front line ahead of the main Stormcast force. Stormcast are cool as shit. So here's Matt. Head rules right. When developing the new edition, we took the time to rebalance characteristics across the different factions to help everything feel inherently apparent just from the miniatures. For the Stormcast Eternals, this meant we could align their save characteristic across the faction to 3+ across the board, with a few exceptions such as the Avian Aetherwings who haven't got a scrap of armour on them. Combined with their finest hour, this makes Stormcast a straightforward but exceedingly resilient army to play with. However, they are not easy to master. Their wider roster of units provides plenty of strategic conundrums, and you'll need your decision-making skills to choose which units to hold back and deploy later. Knowing who to send into battle and who to keep in the Celestial Realm for a surgical strike is key to mastering these Lightning Reeve champions. Spearhead Spotlight. Every faction in the new edition of Warhammer Age of Sigmar has a Spearhead force designed to play the fast-paced, compact Spearhead game mode. With the Skaven type box, the Stormcast Eternals have 2 to choose from, Indrasta's Spearhead and the new Vigilant Brotherhood, which comes in the new Skaven type box. Robert Whitehead, thank you so much. Not only did you order a chair, but you've also become a Thane tier member. You are 2/3 of the way through the hat trick. The chair hasn't showed up on my commission thing, by the way. But thank you so much for becoming a Thane tier member. Like the beacons indeed, the Only Thanes is about to erupt with excitement as you now have access to a link in Discord to get yourself into the Only Thanes and come and hang out in our now growing WhatsApp community. The Only Thanes is a WhatsApp community rather than just a WhatsApp thread. So there is a general chat area for all the Thanes who can chat with me and Joe and Kyle and Eddie and that. Brom is still a bit shy. And Paddy is obviously all about OPSEC because he's in the military. You then have the In-Thane Book Club, and they have a book club that they run frequently where they discuss whichever book they're reading. You now have the In-Thane Fitness and Accountability area where people are posting their fitness updates and what they're doing to try and drop a few pounds here and there. You also have guest questions. Whenever we have a guest in, we put your questions to them directly, as you've probably seen. There's a couple of other things as well, right? Rob, get yourself in there. It's a great community. I think it's I'm now getting to a point where I actually think it's probably worth the money. I'm just saying. Thank you for upgrading to Thane tier, you fucking legend. What a hero. Indrasta's Spearhead works as a delaying action awaiting their leader's devastating arrival in Battle Round 3, but the Vigilant Brotherhood is a small and effective force of units from the Ruination and Warrior Chambers with 3 Prosecutors, 5 Liberators, a Lord Veritant and a Lord Vigilant on Gryffstalker. Each individual packs a mighty punch. So we have the Prosecutors. Now this is a Spearhead War Scroll. It says here, Spearhead War Scroll. So it's different to a normal War Scroll. Some things they won't keep having. You have a 12-inch move, 2 health, 1 control, save of 3+. You have the Javelin, and you have the Stormcall Javelin for melee as well. If you throw it, it's a 10-inch range, hits on 3, wounds on 3s, 1 rend, D3 damage. If you attack with it, it's 3 attacks and 1 damage, but otherwise the same. The unit has a coherency range of 2 inches. As skirmishers, when you make a charge roll for this unit, add 1 additional dice, so 3d6 charge. And they're reinforcements. So the first time they die, in Spearhead only, they come back again. That's cool. Liberators and Prosecutors both have reinforcements to balance that low model count, allowing you to return to the battle after they're destroyed, with 2 battle traits added additional abilities to use during the battle. Right, so you've got 2 battle traits. Once per battle, your hero phase, once per battle, your charge phase. Declare pick a friendly unit. Until the start of your next turn, you have a ward of 5+. Declare pick a friendly unit that is not in combat. That unit can use charge ability even if it used the run ability the same. It's like advance and charge, basically, right? The Shield of Azir allows you to toughen a unit in times of need with a ward 5+, while Storm Charge lets you cover more ground with your Liberators or Lord Veritant, who are touch slower than their winged and mounted allies. This article is the first in a series that will cover every single faction in the game. We'll be updating the hub page for the new edition with new articles that are published, so keep checking back for fresh updates. I mean, so far, all of that stuff looks super cool, I think. Like, it all seems like it makes sense. It all seems thematic. There's a couple of little... So I'm now in a place where, because I can't remember some of the rules articles we've read, because we don't have the rulebook in hand, there's a couple of questions I have that need answering. For example, Injustice Spear has a passive. A passive is on all the time, is what it's said in the past, that says it doubles damage versus monsters, but it's also color coordinated red, and red is for melee. Red is for the combat phase. So my mind is that double damage is only in combat and not for throwing it, because an 8 damage thrown spear seems absolutely fucking mental and not like something that the sensible AoS team would do. Now, my assumption is, having had a dive into the books in the past, when we were lucky enough to do the AoS 4 experience day with them, I think this will be covered off and it will say somewhere. I think it will say. I'm pretty sure it will be a very clear one that doesn't need an FAQ, but I'm curious at the moment. There's a couple of things like that I'm not entirely sure on. That being said, I'm looking forward to Stormcast. I'm looking forward to Stormcast because it looks fun and it looks interesting and it sounds fucking cool. And I think the narrative is getting to a place now where it's super cool as well. So there we go. I'm into it. Where are we? Bearing in mind manifestations are supposedly free to add to your list, the Arcanum is going to be MVP some games. It sounds that way, yeah. Without the Sacrosanct units, if we don't get another wizard in the post-Skaven tide wave of releases, the Knight Arcanum will be the only non-unique wizard in the range. So yes. Oh, that's interesting. Thank you so much, Rob, by the way. You're a hero. Your instincts are correct, at least in my opinion, says Electman. I think so. It is an instinct. It makes sense. And a lot of what we've seen so far with AoS, it just makes sense, right? It just makes sense. That Kool-Aid, no, it's black currant squash, essentially. It's cordial. I don't know what you call it in the US. It's not Kool-Aid, no. It'll be in the 30-page FAQ doc that comes out the week of release. I asked them about that, Razor. I asked them about that. I said, is it coming? And they tried to laugh me out of the room. But, you know. Good thing you ordered a chair because the Thane needs his throne. But the chair hasn't come up, so I don't know if he's telling me the truth or not. We can't guarantee the hat trick because it hasn't come up on my conversions. Just saying. I need that order number. Need that order number. Nope, I haven't got it. Not shown. Maybe he's lying. Maybe he didn't buy a chair. Right, anyway, so that's the Stormcast. We've got 40 minutes. Let me know what you think. Stick it on colourful postcards because I'm going to jump into Skaven pretty much straight away. And we're going to go through Skaven as well. Okay. That's 2 faction focuses done in a day, which is fun and exciting. How's the not 40k chat going? Good week, man. Thank you. Warhammer Age of Sigmar faction focus Skaven. Now this is the one I'm interested in, but I'm less interested in. So I like Skaven. I've always liked Skaven. I didn't necessarily love the old model range, but it's definitely not an army for me, really, when you consider how many things like clan rats you'd have to pay, have to paint. Right, that's not something that I'm particularly well known for right now. The Children of the Great Horned Rat. I love the Great Horned Rat vibe. I love the Skaven vibes. Skaven is so inherently Warhammer. I'm into it, right? It said that you're never more than 6 feet from a rat in the mortal realms. Crumpets Panda, thank you for 5 gifted. Up to 80 of the finest new members. You beautiful humans. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted. You legend. I love you. 20 to go to hit a target that we didn't even set. You're never 6 feet from a rat in the mortal realms, but unlike our world, these rats are haunched, humanoid, and armed with wicked weapons. The Skaven lurk in the dark corners of the realms, always chittering, gnawing, and scheming. They have toiled for long centuries in the fetid sub-realm of Blight City, chewing away at the tattered edges of reality, enviously regarding the realms with a black hunger that dominates their thoughts and forces them to consume. Surprising everyone, their grand scheme to elevate the Great Horned Rat into the pantheon of Chaos Gods has been a success. The Skaven are now in the ascendant, surging into the 8 realms through gnaw holes, corrupted portals from Blight City. These treacherous gateways corrupt the land around them, which degenerates into a polluted wasteland that threatens the life of any who enter. Armed with this foothold, combined with maniacal ambition, warp zone powered weaponry, and the resources of the great clans, the Skavens have set their sights on supremacy. Each Skaven is entirely convinced that they are the greatest of their race ever to have lived, and that every other Skaven is conspiring against them to keep them from their rightful rewards. This towering paranoia makes natural cravens, arch traitors perpetually willing to backstab their superiors, inferiors, and peers in the pursuit of victory. A knife in the back being far preferable to facing conflict head on. Bound together by worship of the Great Horned Rat, an ancient and hungry deity, Skaven society is a loose coalition of competing interests whose plots and schemes sometimes align just about closely enough to get things done. The Council of 13 sits at the top of the food chain, powerful rulers drawn from the mortal movers and shakers of their kind. Underneath them, so they claim, are their faithful agents in the Master Clan, sorcerous grey seer prophets with a direct line to their god. Most Skaven are lowly dregs who toil in service to lesser clans. Clans. They endure short and pathetic lives, kept going only by doomed dreams of avarice and ambition. Oh my god, I'm fucking this one up. But some lucky few can climb the rungs of Skaven society, elevated by cunning talent or ruthless good fortune. The lesser clans themselves belong to one of the great clans which dominate Skaven society, with their specialties and secrets the assassins of the clan's Eshin, the madcap engineers of the clan's Skyriru, the breeders and beast handlers of the clan's Moulder, or the plague priests of the clan's Pestilence. When they go to war, they do so as a result of bargains, bribes, or intimidation, disparate elements finding common cause with their allies for now. Naturally, each of the scheming Skaven screeching orders believes that they are the one truly in control and responsible for victory. And if not, a smartly placed Warpstone dagger will definitely make that the case. That was hard. Battle traits as inveterate cowards who value their own short lives above all else. The Skaven are well versed in the art of the tactical withdrawal. Their warriors too quick to hit when they retreat from combat. Is that a typo? Feels like a typo. So here's their battle traits. Okay, you got the deployment phase. Lurking Vermintide. Pick a friendly Skaven unit that has not been deployed. Set up that unit in the tunnels below. It's now been deployed. Doesn't seem to give us a restriction here. You just put them in the tunnels below. Remember the Stormcast, it gave you a restriction. Once per battle round, start of the battle round, you can use this ability if there are fewer than 3 friendly gnaw holes on the battlefield. Set up a gnaw hole on the battlefield more than 9 inches away from all enemy units, more than 1 inch away from friendly units, and more than 3 inches away from objectives and other terrain features. So it might not be the easiest to get these placed, but you can put up gnaw holes, and looks like you can go up to 3, right? Start at the battle round once per battle, so you start from battle round 1. Too quick to hit. Oh, apparently it wasn't a typo. No mortal damage is inflicted on friendly Skaven infantry and cavalry units by retreat abilities. So if they run away, currently if you run away, you can take mortal wounds. They don't take mortal wounds if they run away, allowing them to scuttle away, come back, right? Okay. Not a typo, it's what GW thinks Skaven speak like. Okay, right, cool. Gnawhole Ambush. Declare pick a friendly Skaven unit that is in the tunnels below to use this ability. This is in your movement phase. Set a unit up wholly within 6 inches of a friendly gnawhole and more than 9 inches away from enemy units. So you could basically deep strike, but you have to come in via gnawholes that you've had to place each battle round. Okay. Enemy hero phase. Declare pick a friendly non-monster Skaven unit that is not in combat or was not set up this turn to use this ability. The unit can use the normal move abilities of your movement phase. That's a cool ability. None of these cost command points. A cool ability, right? I'm into it. Beautiful. That's how the rat people talk. Is it though? Is it? As the splinters of the Vermin Doom, the catastrophic invasion of Blight City into the mortal realms create new wounds in reality. A tide of Skaven can pour onto the battlefield through fresh gnaw holes to overwhelm their foes. You could pop up to 3 of these festering tunnels onto the battlefield. A canny Claw Lord might set aside some furry warriors at the start of the battle as part of the Lurking Vermintide and deliver them into charge range with the Gnawhole Ambush. Finally, conspirational thinking ensures that any Skaven is always 3 claw steps ahead of an enemy, scurrying around in the enemy hero phase to reposition. The clan's Moulder have contributed terrifying new rat ogres to the flesh meld menagerie. These prize creations are enhanced by Warpstone, bolstering their melee prowess, generating a Ward 5+ or a provoking self-destruct fury. So, Flesh Meld Menagerie.
Feels like Stormcast and Skaven showed the recursion and gravesites of SBG. Makes me excited and mildly scared for our rules wherever they get previewed.
Sometime soon, Kaz, sometime soon. Oh, when you said in and out, you mean out, gone.
No, I'm back in.
I tell you what, if I promised you in and out and that's how I performed, you'd be disappointed. Flesh Menagerie. This is a battle formation. Okay. Prize creation. Once per turn, your hero phase. Declare pick up the 3 friendly non-hero molder units to be the targets. Roll a dice for each target that apply the corresponding effect. Self-destructive fury, inflict D3 mortal damage on the target. Rabid infusion, add 1 to attacks characteristics of the target's melee weapons until the start of your next turn. Blinded by frenzy. In addition to the effect of rabid infusion, the target has a war 5+. This is cool. You get a 5/6. You get both of these abilities. You get +1 on the attacks characteristics, and you get 5+ ward until the start of your next turn. Pestlin, Skyat, and Clan Verminus also have representations in the Skaven battle formation, specialising in lethal prototypes, corrupting the earth itself, and emboldening your rank and file Clan Rat, Storm Vermin, and other Claw Horde units. Arcana and incantations. Once in a generation, which is only a few years for Skaven, special rat folk are born who can tap into the aether energy that suffuses the realms. With the aid of volatile warpstone chips, these twitchy wizards unleash devastating spells, can even summon up a rolling lightning vortex. Manifestation Law, so it's a psychic law, and you get the whole of the law, remember. A casting value of 7. Summon Warp Lightning Vortex. Declare if there is not a friendly Warp Lightning Vortex on the battlefield, pick a friendly Skaven wizard to cast this spell, and make a casting roll of 2d6. Set up the first part of the Warp Lightning Vortex within 18 inches of the caster and visible to them, and set up the second and third parts exactly 7 inches from the first part and exactly 7 inches from each other, so they form a triangle. Okay. These swirling masses of warp energy hamper the movement of enemy units and lash out with emerald bolts that fry foes with mortal damage. This is the war scroll for the Warp Lightning Vortex. So it has a health of 7, so it can be attacked. The 6+ save, it has a banishment cast of 7+. Multiple parts. When a number of damage points equal to this manifestation's health characteristic are allocated to it, this manifestation is destroyed and all its parts are removed from play. Okay, so if you do 7 health damage to it, the whole thing comes down by the looks of it. Oh yeah, it's manifestation destroy. Yeah. Any hero phase, declare if this manifestation was not set up this turn, pick each enemy unit within 6 inches of this manifestation to be the target. Roll a dice for each. On a 4+, inflict D3 mortal damage to the target. And the Warp Vortex passive, subtract 2 from run rolls and charge rolls for enemy units while they're within 6 inches of this manifestation. In addition, if an enemy unit passes across this manifestation, inflict D3 mortal damage on that enemy unit after the move ability has been resolved. It has a 6+ ward. It's an endless spell. It's a manifestation. It's cool as shit. Right, there you go. Unit focus. Mortal Ratmen make up the vast bulk of the teeming Skaven hordes, but on occasion they are led into battle by Vermin Lords, potent demons who answer only to the Great Horned Rat. Chief among these fell creatures is Lord Screech Vermin King, a being said to be the Gestalt reincarnation of a particular council of 13 that once plotted to murder their god. This is a big old fucking war scroll, chap. There's a lot to this one, right? He's got a health of 13, so not quite the same as Krondis. A 10-inch move, a save of 4+, and control of 5. The Glaive of the Rat King is 7 attacks that hits on 3s, wounds on 2s, has a rend of 2, damage of 3, but crit 2 hits, which means every successful critical hit, a hit roll of a 6+, right, is doing 2 hits instead of just 1. So 7 attacks could, if you rolled all 6s, turn into 14 hits. Unlikely, but possible. The Dreaded 13th is a spell with a casting value of 7. You pick an invisible enemy unit within 13 inches and roll 2d6. Roll 13 dice. For each 5+, you inflict mortal damage. You can return 1 slain model to a friendly clan rat unit within 13 inches as well. I love the leaning on the 13 thing. It's very thematic. I'm a big fan of this, right? You also have any combat phase once per turn. Pick an enemy infantry in combat with this target. Roll a dice on a 3+. The target you cannot use commands. Subtract an amount equal to the roll from the target's control score until the start of your next turn. Keywords rampage, right? The 13-headed one. Many things. Pick one of the following effects to apply until the start of your next turn. You cannot pick the same effect more than once per battle. Alright? Add 1 to casting rolls for friendly Master Clan Wizards. Add 1 to charge rolls for verminous units. Add 1 to hit rolls for shooting units made by Sky units. Add 1 to the rend characteristic of melee weapons used by Eshin units. Add 1 to chanting rolls for Pestilence Priests. Heal D3 for each friendly Mouldy unit, and it's all within 13 inches. Okay, Wizard 1, so you can cast 1 spell. 5 up for no pain for the whole game, essentially, because it's on his data sheet. Chaos Skaven, Demon, Master Clan, Verminous Pestilent, Eshin, Sky, and Molder. There you go. This arcane amalgamation is a terrifying monstrosity who can weaken enemy infantry with a glance. As a 13-headed one, Screech has numerous once per battle abilities, empowering units from the one great clans with a 13-inch aura. What the Skaven masses lack in muscle, courage, or raw violence, the Rat Ogres have in abundance. Not that their clan's Molder Packmasters stopped at mutations, they also saw fit to graft warp fire weapons on particularly promising specimens. So these are the new Rat Ogres that are in the new box in Skaven Tide. 4 health of 4, move of 6, save of 5, cool. A warp fire gun. 2d6 shots that hit on 2s, wound on 4s with rend of 2 damage because shooting combat, that's good. And then it has 5 attacks, hit on 4s, wound on 3s, 1 rend, 2 damage, again, is good. Okay. Inflict D3 mortal damage on this unit, then add 1 to the attack's characteristics using his melee weapons for the rest of the turn. Any combat phase, you can do that. So you can just get better melee and take D3 mortals. They are at 4 health each, so it's a risk, right? If you've got 1 at 1 health, then you're going to lose it by taking D3 mortal damage. And being mortal damage, it spills over. This violent combo sees packs of Rat Ogres periodically fly into melee frenzy with Unleashed Warp Fury while dousing their opponents in searing blasts of green with the shoot in combat ability. Most Skaven agree it's far safer to engage enemies from a distance, but then most Skaven haven't suffered a Clan Skyra War Machine malfunction in their face. Despite the high rate of friendly casualties, Warp Lightning cannons are prized tools with Warlock Engineers and Clawlords alike, demanding more Warp Lightning, regardless of the price in Scorched Flesh. So the Warp Lightning Blast, 20-inch range, 2d6 attacks, hits on floors, everything else is C below. Right, health of 8. C below, interesting. And you've got your passive abilities here with your little, like, shooting. This blue is shooting, by the way, so you know. Each time, each attack made with this weapon in a single phase must target the same enemy unit. Each hit inflicts 1 mortal damage on a target and the attack sequence ends. So it does mortals in ranged attacks. If this unit is within the combat range of a friendly hero, add 6 to the attack characteristics of this unit's Warp Lightning Blast. For the rest of the turn. However, for each unmodified hit roll of 1, an attack made with this unit's Warp Lightning Blast inflict D3 mortal damage on this unit after the shoot ability has been resolved. So it can blow itself up, which is bad, obviously. With faction terrain getting a health and save characteristic, your opponents will want to quickly cave in any gnaw holes as they crop up, lest they be overwhelmed in a tide of fur and fangs. Fortunately, your battle traits will let you keep returning them to the battlefield. So it's only got a health of 6 and a save of 4+. So it's relatively simple to bring them down if you can get in range of them, right? Volatile ground. Models can pass through this terrain feature, but cannot be set up or end moves on any part of this terrain feature. Each of an enemy unit moves that pass through or cross this terrain feature roll D3 on a 2+, inflict an amount of mortal damage on that target equal to the roll. So Skaven have got lots of ways of doing mortal damage, but just not lots of damage at the time. It's like single mortal damage here and there. Pick a friendly non-hero Skaven infantry unit that has been destroyed by the target. Set up a replacement unit within half the number of models. This is the same, essentially, as the Stormcast one. Costs a CP, but it has to be within 6 inches of a friendly gnaw hole and more than 3 inches from enemy units, which is cool. It's once per turn at the end of your turn, so it's not like you can then charge when it's 3 inches away from enemy units. Then your movement phase, pick a friendly Skaven unit that is not in combat and is wholly within 6 inches of this terrain feature to be the target. Remove the target from the battlefield and set it up again wholly within 6 inches of a friendly gnaw hole that's more than 9 inches from enemy units. So you can jump across the battlefield with this depending on where you've put your gnaw holes, which is super fucking cool, right? Beyond acting, we had a new Thane, by the way. And it was from Robert, who says he's ordered a chair, but it hasn't shown up on my affiliate link. But considering he'd ordered, I'm going to believe him that he's ordered a chair, but even though it hasn't shown up yet. But considering he's ordered a chair and become a Thane, he's going about the very expensive way of trying to do a hat trick.
Very expensive.
Yeah. Actually, he also super chatted 199.
So he's done.
So he's done a hat trick.
Hat trick.
But he did it the fucking expensive way, to be fair.
That should be like a top hat trick.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I think the whole gnaw hole mechanic is super cool for Skaven, by the way. Beyond acting as nodes for deploying your reserves deep into the battlefield, gnaw holes allow you to replenish the endless vermintide that is your swarm, and tunnels through reality allow for even more devious movement shenanigans. Sam from the studio says, we've changed the way gnaw holes play on the battlefield to align them better with the narrative of the Vermin Doom, in which the ambitious scheming has paid off and given them easy access to every mortal realm. Rather than setting up 3 gnaw holes at the start of each battle, gnaw holes will be constantly popping up out of the ground throughout the course of the battle thanks to the splinters of the Vermin Doom battle trait. This opens up lots of opportunities for your plans to unfold, all backed up by the variety of specialist units on offer via the Grand Clans. Coupled with your battle formations, you can build a Skaven army focused on one of the main clans, or create a hodgepodge mix of rats of various creeds united in one purpose, defying the realms for the glory of the Great Horned Rat. Spearhead Spotlight. So looking at the Spearhead units, this is the Spearhead that you'll get out of the new box, obviously, from the new Vermin Doom box. Okay, just like the Stormcast Eternals, the Skaven have 2 complete Spearheads to choose from, the current Warp Spark Claw Pack and the new Gnawfest Claw Pack. The new Spearhead does not suffer from its lack of literal gnaw holes. Your forces can still nibble through rifts in reality, as the lurking Vermintide and gnaw hole ambush gives you plenty of positional play, which is even more important on the smaller Spearhead board. The lurking Vermintide. To pick a friendly unit that has not been deployed. The target is set up in reserve in the tunnels below. Units in the tunnel below have not used the gnaw hole ambush ability by the end of the 3rd battle round are destroyed. The ambush battle. The gnaw hole ambush ability is this: pick a friendly unit that is in the tunnels below, set it up wholly within 6 inches of the corner of a battlefield, more than 9 inches from enemy units. Tying everything together is a Grey Seer, that rare breed of magical Skaven with curling horns embodying the will of the Horned Rat. He can turn even the most craven clan rat into a valiant soldier, if only for a moment, and sap an enemy's strength with Wither. So he's got a cool little staff, right? Hits on 4s, wounds on 4s, rend 1, damage D3. It's a bit shit, but it's just he's just hitting you with a stick, okay? Health of 5, control of 2. Pick a friendly unit wholly within 13 inches of this unit to be the target, then roll a dice on a 3+, add 3 to the target's control score until the start of your next turn. That's cool. Pick a visible enemy unit within 13 inches of this unit to be the target, then make a casting roll of D6 on a 6+, inflict D3 more damage on the target. Also cool. Cool little character. Into it. No reinforcements. We'll be getting even more dank, devious and cowardly tomorrow as we bask in the light of the bad moon and look at the Gloomspike Gits with their disparate hordes, grots, troggers and skriz. Apart from, we're not going to be doing that because it is now 22 the hour and we have to finish at 3. So that is essentially a look at the factions that are coming in the new box set. In Skaventide or Vermin Doom or Vermintide or Skaven Doom or Rats Terror or whatever it's called. No, it's called. That's the 2 factions coming, including the 2 Spearheads. the rules for me look incredibly narrative and like they're actually built with the factions in mind. Like I said, I got a few questions already, which I'm sure will be clarified when I have my hands on all of the rules. But it looks cool, right? I think it looks really cool. I think it looks really fun and interesting. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah.
All these models will look good in my old world Skaven army. They will, absolutely. Do you have old world Skaven? Were they not like legends or something? I'm expecting a lot of refreshers for older units instead of a whole bunch of new units. Skaven Tide. Rat Wizard Cast Turbo Nibble. I'm glad I like all the models in this box set. Easy sell for me.
I thought one of the pictures looked like Christmas rats. It was
Christmas
very red
rats?
and green. It was something feast.
Christmas rat.
Christmas rats.
The Northeast Claw Pack. Okay, I can see that.
Christmas rats. Stick a hat on, you're done. They're party ready.
I think if you saw the models more closely, you probably wouldn't
A few
think that.
twinkle lights, couple of miniature Christmas crackers.
I've come to the realization as well that GW, with their model photos on the website, I've decided to take the photos with an absolute fucking potato cam.
Your voice is sounding bad again.
I did say absolute potato cam. I don't know why they do it. If I screen share now after I've zoomed in on an image, right? This is the quality of the photos they've put on their website to showcase their own product. I don't understand. You guys should be able to see it now, right? We live in a day where I can take a photo with one of my cameras. In fact, no, I lie to you, right? I can take a photo with this mobile phone right now. I can put it on max quality and take a photo with my mobile phone. And if I zoomed it in this far, you'd see pubes. If you zoomed in that far, you'd see everything. You'd see absolutely fucking everything. But for some reason, what they decide to do is they take a photo. Now, we spoke to Peachy. If you've watched the Peachy saga, right, you'll know that it takes them literal weeks to take their photos because of how fussy they are and how much effort they put into getting the photos right and making them look pretty and all the setup and all that kind of stuff, right? And then when they upload them in, like, not even 1080p quality. They upload them in 108p quality. What the fuck is? And these are the new models. Like, you'd think they'd want to show these off and be like, "Look how beautiful these are."
You can't really appreciate.
You can't exactly.
No.
It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. It seems like it's a dumb decision to make your models look like you've spunked over your camera lens before you post it on your website. City's preview showed off some interesting little tweaks. Nothing earth-shattering, but enough to be working on. Cavaliers were unsurprisingly needed hard. I guess that means nerfed hard. Glad I didn't start that second unit. Nerfed? Are they actually nerfed though? That's the thing though, Martin, because I think it's across the board these changes have happened. So my guess is it's due to SCA, speed the page, loads, etc. They use small images. It doesn't. I'm not sure. Those new pixels look great. Well done, GW. I swear they did this with the photos, so it's hard to share them without them looking shy. So that's what I think. I used to steal a load of their photos for my thumbnails and use them as the background. But I can't with models really anymore because they're so bad. Yeah. Nice rims, though. Always appreciate a clean rim. All rims should always be black, though. That's a fact. I think it's worth pointing out, Liam, they did an exhibition match of Lumineth and Skaven in the way back on the 16th with Skaven rules not in this article. That's cool. I need to go and find that at some point. What do we think, then? For those of you that are AoS people, are you happy with what you've seen? For those of you that are not AoS people but are 40k people who are AoS curious, are these piquing your interest? Are you looking? Because I look at some of this stuff, right, and I'm like, I missed this from old 40k. I missed this from even 9th edition or previous, and I think a lot of it. The only thing AoS has, that I personally am not a fan of, but I can get used to, is a flat wound roll. So the fact that a clan rat, if it wounds on a 5+, will wound a bloodthirster, for example, on a 5+, annoys me. But that's a minor gripe, and it's just an AoS thing. And I don't want AoS and 40k to be the same. I want them to have something. I want them to have differences, so they feel like two different games. So I think it probably is needed to continue to feel like two different games. But you know, that's the one thing that I'm not a fan of personally. The pick one weapon rule is great in my honest opinion. What's that? What rule's that, Razor? If you have multiple melee weapons, can you only pick one? The Skaven and Stormcast aren't making me curious, says Weeman. Oh, that's a shame. Is there anything out there that's making you curious? All sounds good for me on the AoS front. Enjoying 3rd and 4th sounds like a good tweak and upgrade. It does, yeah, I think so too. Don't get me wrong, they needed nerfing. They are stupid good in 3rd. Okay. Luce needs an army to play Spearhead on stream.
No.
100% happy with what we've seen so far. When you get to Gloomspike Gits, there are a few things that make me tug at my collar, but otherwise I'm very happy and excited for 4th edition. Tug at your collar means bad, I guess.
I'm out again. Yep.
Wow.
Well, I am housewifing. I did say I was housewifing.
I am blaming you. You said in and out, in and out, in and out.
Well, now
You've been
I'm out again.
in. That's it.
Now I'm out again.
Okay, right.
I'll be back in a minute.
I'm blaming you for my curiosity. You're welcome to. The rule where you have to pick dev wounds or sustain hits on a 6. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. I think you use all melee weapons, don't you? I think if you have melee weapons, you just use them, as far as I'm aware. Flat hit and flat wound rolls make it feel very uninteractive for me. It doesn't really matter what I'm fighting. Yeah, that's... So from a very purely selfish perspective, if I play a game, even with 40k, I want to go back to weapon skills, personally, and ballistic skills, because it's less important for ballistic skill, I guess, but it is important for me for weapon skill. Like, ballistic skill, okay. If you're good with a ranged weapon, if you're good with a rifle or a machine gun or whatever, you're good with a rifle or a machine gun. So having a flat hit roll for ranged weapons, okay, cool. Did we need ballistic skill 2 means you hit on whatever it is, a 2, or ballistic skill 4 means you hit on a 3, or whatever, whichever way around it was. Ballistic skill 5 means you hit on a 2. I can't remember. Right, did we need that? Did we need to go, here's a ballistic skill, that's what you hit on? We didn't need that. So for ranged weapons, I have no issues at all with being on a, you hit on a 2, you hit on a 3, you hit on a 4. That's fine. I'm okay with that. I have no problems with that whatsoever, right? Weapon skill, however, being a flat weapon skill. Now, if I'm a swordsman, if I'm a natural swordsman, and I'm fighting a fucking peasant who's normally the cook, I should probably be hitting him better than he's hitting me, and he should have a harder time hitting me because I'm a swordsman and he's a peasant. If I'm fighting another swordsman, I should probably have a harder time hitting him because I'm fighting another swordsman, right? So for me, melee is one where you should be comparing. Ranged, I'm okay with being a flat. Personally. A model's flat wound roll is simply how strong that model is. It has nothing to do with the enemy model. The model's toughness is built into its wounds. It makes sense to me. I see it that way. I get it. I just personally prefer strength versus toughness. But, you know, this new edition of AoS looks so good. I can look past a flat to wound roll, to be honest with you. And I think it's probably quicker and easier, especially for things like content. Middle Earth wound roll system is the best. How's that work, Sean? Also, chat, just to let you know, we're currently 12 minutes away from finishing the stream. We're on 80 gifted members. Just throwing that out there. Target colony is bad. There's one unit that can stack a buff multiple times if you take multiple copies. They had to FAQ that when people tried exploiting it in 3rd edition. Well, hopefully they've already been... If they've had to FAQ it in 3rd, hopefully they're already aware of it, and there's already a thing in place that stops that from happening. We just haven't seen it. I'm always conscious, when we see previews of anything, I'm always conscious we see a snapshot of what they want to show us, and we don't see the big picture. Right? We don't ever see the whole picture. So I get what you're saying. 100% elect man, get what you're saying. Because maybe it was a problem before and it might be a problem again, but I feel like I'm going to reserve judgment as to how good or bad things are when I see them until we see the whole picture. And even then, we probably won't see the whole picture for, I reckon, a month after it's come out, whilst people played lots and lots of games. You reckon? Because I just don't feel like we're gonna see. There's going to have to be lots of interactions from faction to faction and force to force before we know how many good or bad things or how many broken things there are, ultimately. But we'll see. In Middle Earth, is a chart, but more granular, so a hobbit can never wound Sauron no matter how many shots. Yeah, I like that too. I was a fan of that as well. Guardsmen's lasguns not taking down Imperial Knights, I was a fan of. Do any of the buffs we've seen not have the once per turn army restriction? I don't think so that I've seen so far. But I'd imagine if that has that in there, then there's probably exceptions to that rule. Your weapon skill should be the roll you need to be hit on by the model swinging at you, not what you hit everything in the game with. I'm not sure a grot can hit a pole way easier than it can hit a Primarch. Okay. That's interesting, Dwayne. I like that concept. I started with AoS, so I can't comment too hard on flat to wound roll other than it made understanding it easier as someone new. I think from a accessibility perspective, it's really good, right? Once I finish my Tomb Kings, I will likely slip myself into Fire Slayers for AoS. Yes, Escape. Yes, Escape. Weapon skill versus weapon skill always makes sense. Yeah, absolutely. After playing AoS for so long, I prefer the flat to hit to wound. Okay. Maybe it's just a change thing for me then. Maybe I'm just afraid of change. Perhaps that's what it is. I am super excited about my Stormcast though. I need to know what an actual Stormcast spearhead is for the old set, because I've got all of the models from the half of was it Dominion? I've got all the models from the half of Dominion in front of me. I need to know how many of them I need to paint up for the spearhead. It should be interesting. I'm excited. I'm very excited for new AoS. Very excited. I'm excited for tonight as well though, to be fair. Oh my god. I'm not excited for how my throat's going to feel tomorrow. Would Sons of Behemat be silly for new AoS? I really like the models. No, absolutely not. And Sons of Behemat have a spearhead option. Wee man. They have a spearhead option. It does annoy me the way a guardsman hit a custodian on a Primarch the same way it can another guardsman. Yeah, I agree, Keith, absolutely. Flat Twin also makes no hard counters. I can't tell you. I can tell how 12 armor on Imperial Knight does nothing, actually. Flat to Wound also makes no hard counters. Okay. Giants were oppressive for a while in third, so I'm expecting them to pay for past sins. Time will tell. After all, even if the buff can stack with multiple copies of the unit, you have to roll a 3+ for it to even happen. Maybe there's enough things in place then to make it less oppressive. We'll have to have a look. We're either going to look tomorrow night or Thursday. It depends how fast I want to race through these faction focuses. As a long-term AoS player, flat hit and wound is nice because it sucks if you have something that can't hurt your opponent. It also speeds the game up by models dying faster, which is an AoS perk. Like I said, White Rhino, right? I'm 100% happy to be wrong. I'm 100% happy to not be right here and be like, everyone disagrees with me who have played AoS for ages and actually goes, it's better this way. Like, I have no problems with that whatsoever. So, you know, pinch of salt. I'm okay with it. They already paid for those sins in all of 2022 and a good chunk of 2023, did they? I love the Sons of Behemat big giant kits, though. The big ones. They're fucking cool. Yndrasta, Night Vexilla, and Annihilators from Dominion is the only one for Spearhead. Then you just need Vanquisher's Chariot. I have the Chariot. Vanquishers are the guys with the spears, right? I have those too. How many Vanquishers do I need because of dragons? Because of dragons. 7 minutes to go, chat. Still on 80 members.
Okay, I'm back in.
For the last 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Kraken Eaters. What are them? Oh yeah, they're the big ones. Vanquishers have great swords. Ugh, I don't have any Vanquishers. I'll just use the Spearmen from the box. That'll be fine. I'll use my Spearmen. Right? Vanquishers have great swords. They weren't in Dominion. Oh my god. Now I need to have a look at the fucking Games Workshop website. Shop. Age of Sigmar. Order. Stormcast. Vanquishers. I really want to buy a Krondis, but he's £100. Vanquishers. Oh, but they're kind of cool. They're in the... They're in the thingy box, aren't they? Vanquishers. Spearhead, Stormcast. There's 10 Vanquishers. Ugh. Well, that sucks. I'm gonna have to get them. I want Crondis as well. You can even use Sequitas if you have those. I don't know what I have. I have lots of spearmen because I like spears. Ugh. Right. I have some bowmen. I don't know what else I have actually. I need to dig it all out. But I have to get some vanquishes. It's not a problem. I'll pick up some vanquishes. Stormcast Battleforce might be around. Battleforce. I think they're going to keep selling it. If you don't get Crondis now, he'll get a price hike on the 10th of June. Yes, but he's £100 elect man, right? Where can I browse spearhead stuff? What do you mean? Go to the Games Workshop AoS website. Look at spearhead. They're all Vanguard boxes. They're all the same. Vanquishes are 40 quid. Oh my god. Where's Elephant Games? Things are so fucking expensive now. What is of order? Let's go Stormcast Eternals. Vanquishers, Annihilators, Vanguard Hunters, Praetors, Vindicators, Vigilators, Vanquishers. $33.99 from Element Games. 15% off. The only one back to Vanquishers for £55 on Warbay built. Oh no, I don't want them built. I want to do it myself. Cheap Crondis. No, I don't want built stuff. I want to. If I'm gonna buy, if you're gonna buy a product like Crondis, I want to build it myself. So basic grunt model should be able to hit a weapon master character on a straight 4+, totally negating difference in weapon skill between a grunt and a model that is meant to be a weapon master. All right, Keith. I think you're agreeing with me. AoS is a bit cheaper than 40k steel. Models cost a lot of points. Oh, that's good. So the barrier to entry is lower. Thunderstrike Spearhead is what it was called. So you don't want to play Spearhead then?
No.
Even though we can play it on our kitchen table?
How many rules are there? How big is the rule book?
It's not that bad.
Mine not that bad or you're not that bad?
I think it's significantly easier to learn than Warhammer 40k. Like, significantly easier to learn than Warhammer 40k.
Do I have to build and paint them?
No, you just use one of ours in the studio.
Oh, okay.
We have a Joe.
Yeah, I know, but Joe's already got loads. I don't want to... Oh, sorry, everyone. I knocked the wire.
Yeah, I could hear it on the headphones there.
Super sorry.
Yeah, Joe has got loads to do. It's his job.
Yeah, but, like, no.
I think, actually, do you know what? It depends on how much you're up for this, and you don't have to give me an answer now, and you don't have to feel pressured into it. But I think that a measure of success for Spearhead would be whether you could play it or not. A person who's never really played a tabletop game before, like this, who tried to learn 40k and I think 9th edition and went, no, it's too much, I can't. If Spearhead is good, really good, and you get to a point where like, I'm fucking playing it and I'm enjoying it, that means it's a great intro version of the game, which is what they've gone for.
So you're applying the looseometer.
Yeah. Well, it's not. I mean, arguably you could use it with anyone. Like, you could bring anyone in who's never really played a game before, who doesn't really know the rules to any of the game, and be like, here's Spearhead, let's learn it together. And if it gets to the point where you can play a few games, that makes it a success, right? If you're going, that makes sense. So there's lots of things in Age of Sigmar, for example, that doesn't exist, is different from 40k. So there's things in 40k that doesn't exist in Age of Sigmar. So if you remember, in 40k, one of the things we used to go through with you was the fucking pain of working out what you needed to roll to wound a person. Mm-hmm. So rolling to hit was easy because it just told you, and then rolling to hit, you had to go and work out, what's the strength and what's the toughness and what do I have to roll, right? Age of Sigmar doesn't do that. It just tells you what you have to roll.
Okay.
So with an Age of Sigmar weapon, it'll just be like, hits on a 2, wounds on a 2, rend is 1, damage is 1. There you go. Off you go.
Okay, if we have a couple of loose learns at home, no cameras or anything, and then honestly, how easy is that to pick up? Yeah,
because even if we don't film the content, if you don't want to film the content, it'll be interesting for people to hear your experience of playing it when it's out, as to whether it was actually Luce could pick it up, play it.
Okay.
It's good content for a talking head show at the very least.
Okay.
There you go. If Luce can play, then they did a good job. But it's not... To be clear, chat, right? To be clear, not calling Luce a dumbass. I'm not saying any... What I'm saying is, it's a person who basically has never played a tabletop war game before, who, we did our stream a long time ago, tried to pick up 40k and went, this is too much, I can't. Which I agree, it is too much. Legitimately agree with that. So if Spearhead is any good, or if Spearhead is close to perfect, then she'll be able to pick it up, play, and be like, I got it. I got the idea. And even if we don't put any of that on camera, and we literally sit here for a talking head and be like, Lucy, did you play Spearhead? And she went, yeah. And I actually got it, and I enjoyed it. That's a win. Or she went, it was still too much.
I'm not an idiot. Yay!
But I think that's good content. Like even if it's just one of these on a Wednesday night or whatever, I feel like that's interesting content. So Anyway, we've hit after 3 p.m. We fell short. We stopped at 80 members. Thank you so much though for those people that gifted. You people are incredible. Even if 70 of those came from 2 people, but we have fallen short. Not that there's actually a target.
I was going to say, there's no target.
No, not really a target. So thank you so much to those people that have gifted. Big shout out to John McCardle for the 50. Big shout out to Buckshot for the 20. Thank you to everybody else. And a huge shout out to Robert for upgrading to Thane as well. I hope you've got yourself in that WhatsApp chat already. Right, you people are amazing. I'm now going to get over to the studio, start badly making a table because Joe's not here. I like to make it bad enough that if he looks at it from home, he rages because I'm like, well, you shouldn't have taken the day off, then should you lazy fuck? And then get ready for Vince to turn up so we can play our Monster Mash game, which is just big. We're taking nothing but big monsters, nothing but greater demons and Primarchs. That's all we're going to have tonight. Nothing else. Oh, I like demon princes and shit. It's just going to be fun, okay? It's just going to be fun. Warhips says Spearhead's going to be the best thing ever. Yeah, best day ever playing Spearhead, mate, right? 100%. Welcome, Josh, by the way. Love you. So we're going to be playing just big monsters. We are going to be playing normal Leviathan, but the only reason why we're playing normal Leviathan is because we think it's going to be hilarious, right? It's going to absolutely be hilarious because we're only having big monsters, so we can't do things like some of the action ones. It's going to be basically impossible. So me and Vince are just going to dick around, have a laugh. At the end of it, I'll probably sound as husky as he does. There we go. Then I'm going to come home and just die in my bed until tomorrow in the hope that a lay in the morning and a bit more honey tea, etc. means my voice will get better again tomorrow. It's slowly coming back, but there we go. Just big monsters tonight. It'll be fun. At Monster Mash, 7:30. Join us at 7:30 for that game. Tomorrow at 7:30 in the evening, we have another Warhammer show, another talk show, where Luce and I will sit here talking about something. Who the fuck knows what.
The colour green.
We'll put like some shockingly fucking like clickbaity title on so people actually turn up to that one. Ugh, bastards. And then on Thursday, it's back to normal with a Liam and Joe show. And then we have a live game in the evening. Friday, we plan to do 40k After Dark. But Joe and I are at the UK Games Expo during a day on Friday. So it depends what time we get home. My intent is to do an After Dark. If I walk in the door at 8:30 when we normally go live, I'll look at Luce and gauge the situation. And if she looks like she's about to murder the children, I might not do an After Dark. If I think she's perfectly happy, we might do it at like 9:30, like old times.
In the before times.
In the before times. Okay? Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with us today, you beautiful human beings. We'll see you in the next one.